All right, welcome back to the third part of your practice midterm. So number 17 is a function notation problem. It says if f of x equals x to the third minus 2x, find f of negative 2. All this means is that we need to substitute negative 2 in every time we see an x. So I'm going to rewrite this problem. There's nothing I do with this f of x on the left. That is the same exact thing as y equals. So I'm going to substitute negative 2 anytime we have an x here. So, negative 2 here. And I already see a mistake I made, and this is why we need to be really careful. This was to the third power. I need this to the third power. Now remember, if something is to the third power, that means you're multiplying it by itself 3 times. So that really means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Well, negative 2 times negative 2 gives us positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2 would give us negative 8. And then in our next part, we have negative 2 or minus 2 times negative 2. Negative times negative gives us a positive. 2 times 2 is 4. So then we have negative 8 plus 4, which just gives us negative 4. And sometimes you might see it written as f of negative 2 equals negative 4. All that basically means is when I plugged in negative 2 for x, when I substituted that in, I got negative 4. Alright, so our next part, it says cell phone company Y charges a $10 startup fee plus 10 cents per minute. Cell phone company Z charges 20 cents per minute with no startup fees. And it wants to know the difference. Okay, let's pause. There's a vocabulary word there. Difference means that we are subtracting. So we are subtracting the cost between company Y and company Z. Well, let's start by looking at company Y. Company Y charges a $10 startup fee. Plus, they are going to charge 10 cents per minute. So plus 10 cents per minute. Then cell phone company Z just charges 20 cents per minute. And it wants us to show the difference between these. So it wants us to subtract. So it wants to do company Y minus company Z. So company Y is 10 plus x minus company Z, which is 20 cents times the number of minutes. Well, all we have to do here is combine our like terms. So 0.10x, 10 cents per minute, minus 20 cents per minute. And we are left with negative. Whoops. Now, the tricky thing here is the order of your answers. You really have to find something where it has the numbers in the right order. The negative is with the x. And this is a positive 10. So if I look at the first one, this gives me a negative 10, not a positive 10. So that's not my answer. Function B, I have my negative 10 cents a minute plus 10. That has the correct numbers. I think my answer choice is B. Answer choice C, that has the x with the wrong number. And company D, there's nothing, not company D, but answer choice D, there's nothing negative in that one, so we don't have that as the answer either. All right, number 19. So we are going to solve this equation. Let's write it out first so we have some room. All right, now when we have parentheses with no number in front, there really is a number sitting up there. It's that negative 1. So we're going to start and we're going to distribute negative 1. So I have 3x minus 7 equals 11x. Negative 1 times 8x is negative 8x. Negative 1 times negative 2 will give me a positive 2. That was our first step. Now we're going to look for like terms. On the right side, I have 11x minus 8x. They are like terms. They are on the same side. So we just do 11x minus 8x, which is 3x. So now, my next step, I'm going to work with my variables. I have 3x, so the opposite is negative 3x or minus 3x. I'm going to do that on both sides. 3x minus 3x is 0. 3x minus 3x is 0. I'm left with negative 7 equals 2. That is not true. Negative 7 is not equal to 2, so that is going to be no solution. There's no answer choice that actually says no solution. So you do need to know that this symbol is the symbol that represents no solution. Oops. All right, another solving equations problem. We have 4x plus 8 equals 10x minus 2 parentheses 3x minus 4. All right. Now I'm going to start, and on the right side, I'm going to be distributing this negative 2. So 4x plus 8, this all stays. 10x stays. Negative 2 times negative 3x gives me negative 6x. Negative 2 times negative 4 gives me positive 8. So I've done my distributing. I'm going to combine like terms. On the right, I have 10x minus 6x. 10x minus 6x is just going to give me 4x. Now, if you notice right now, I have the exact same thing on each side. So I'm going to go ahead, and I might realize the answer then, or it might take me a few more steps. If I subtract 4x from each side, I'm left with 8 equals 8. That is true. If it is true, that indicates that has infinitely many solutions. Any single number you would plug in for x that you would substitute in there would work and give you a true statement. All right, number 21. We have to give a formula for the number of dots in the nth figure in the sequence. Well, figure 1 has 1 dot. Figure 2 has 3 dots. Figure 3 has 5 dots. Figure 4 has 7 dots. Here we're looking at an arithmetic sequence. Now these are all switched up a little bit in the order. We usually write them like this. But you can see that they have the multiplying at the beginning and then whatever's added at the end. So this is the way they've written theirs. So we're going to fill it in just like that. Our first term here, this A1, that indicates our first term, is here, and we had 1 dot in our first term. Our D is our common difference. That's the number being added or subtracted each time. So to get between these numbers, to get from 1 to 3, I had to do plus 2. To get from 3 to 5, plus 2. 5 to 7, plus 2. Our common difference is 2. So we are done. And if we look at it, the only ones that had the 2 for the common difference are C and D. And the difference between those is one has a minus 1, one has a plus 1. Well, we have a plus 1 in ours, so our answer choice is D. All right, number 22 here. The total cost in dollars of membership to a DVD rental service is given by the function f of x equals $8.25 times x plus 10, where x is the number of months a person is a member. In dollars, how much is the cost of membership for 1 year? Well, up here we're talking about months. Now we're talking about a year. 1 year is 12 months. So all we have to do in this problem is we're going to substitute 12 in for x, and we're going to see what we get. So this would be a good calculator problem here. So we have 8.25 times 12 plus 10. And that's going to give us $109. All right, question number 23. We have the function f of x equals negative 25x plus 300. That represents the amount of money in a savings account X months after being open. What is the meaning of the slope of the function? Well, remember, the slope is what's happening every time. So each month or per person, per something, or each. So when we look at these answer choices, the only one talking about each is answer choice C. And let's look and see if that makes sense. We have negative 25 as our slope. That's the number in front of our x in slope-intercept form. And it's saying this says the amount of money being taken out of the account each month. Since that is a negative number, that makes sense that that is being taken out of the account. So answer choice C is actually right. Answer choice A, when it's talking about the initial amount of money in the account, whatever initial amount or starting amount, that's actually going to be your y-intercept. So we were not asked about that one at all. We were just asked what that slope meant. All right, number 24, we got a lot going on here. Tony bought a new microwave oven. The table below is in the microwave cooking guide. Use the information to answer following questions. Well, it's giving us some cooking time for vegetables and tells us some cooking notes. And it tells us the cooking guide also has a formula for the temperature of a liquid after it's heated in the microwave on hot. The guide indicates this. And it tells us what each of those variables means. This problem had so much stuff in it, but all it wants us to do is solve the equation for S. It just wants us to get S alone in the equation, and that's it. All this is a literal equation problem. So we have T equals 7 over 6 S plus I. And just like we did before, we're going to highlight that S because that is the variable we're trying to get isolated, try and get alone. Now our first step, we're going to get rid of that plus I. So I'm going to start, I'm going to subtract I from each side. And on the left, I now have T minus I equals 7 over 6S. Now that 7 over 6 doesn't really need to be in parentheses there. And so I'm still trying to get S alone. Now remember, whenever we have fractions, we can work with those and get rid of the denominator first. So the opposite of dividing by 6 is multiplying by 6. And I can do that to both sides. On the right, this cancels out. On the left, that is 6 times T minus I. So to show we're multiplying it by everything that's already there, we're going to have to use parentheses. Sorry, that's a little messy, but 6 times T minus I. And now on the right, all we have is 7S. And again, I'm going to highlight that S each time until I get it finally isolated, finally alone. Now, the opposite of multiplying S by 7 is dividing by 7. So I get 6 times T minus I divided by 7 equals S. Now notice none of them are written quite like that. But I really have 6 over 7 here. And that's times this T minus I. So it's just written a little bit differently. Both of these are the same thing. So notice in answer choice A that has 7 over 6. That's not right. Answer choice B has 6 over 7 times T minus I equals S. That looks right. C has 7 over 6 again. That's not right. And D has T plus I, but we got T minus I. So our correct answer there is going to be answer choice B. All right, and our last problem, number 25, it wants to know the value for x. So we're just solving this equation here. Now it's okay if it's equal to 0. 0 is a number that works. We're going to start on the left side by distributing. So I have 2 times 3x will give me 6x. 2 times 5 will give me 10. Then I solve my minus 2x, my plus 2, and that equals 0. Now, since I've distributed, I'm going to work on combining like terms. So on the left, I have 6x minus 2x. 6x minus 2x is 4x. And then I also have 10 plus 2. 10 plus 2 gives me 12. I'm still trying to get x alone, so I'm going to subtract my 12 from both sides. 0 minus 12 gives me negative 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. So now I have 4 times x equals negative 12. One last step, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And 4 divided by 4 is 1x, or just x. and I get x equals -3. That's all for the practice midterm. Hopefully that helped, and good luck.